My name is David, of the tribe of Judah, the second king of the United Nation of Israel after Saul. In Hebrew, my name means beloved. The biblical story of my life is legendary. Together, my wives and I are going to tell you a short story about our lives together.
My name is Michal, from the tribe of Benjamin. In Hebrew, it means who is like God. I am the daughter of Saul, the first king of the nation of Israel. My father gave me to David as a reward, but secretly he thought I would become a snare to him. But actually I fell in love with him. The story of our union is quite fascinating. My name is Abigail. I am a Canaanite woman. In Hebrew, my name means my father is joy. I was originally married to a wealthy man named Nabal, but he died, and I became David's wife. Through our union we had one son. His name was Chilib. The story of our union is quite fascinating as well.
My story with Michal begins with her father King Saul, promising her to me if I brought him back 100 foreskins of the Philistines. So being the ambitious man I am, I brought him back 200. However, this was merely a ruse to get me to fall by the hand of the Philistines. But since he had decreed it and I succeeded, he was forced to give me Michal to be my wife. Later, while I was still married to her, he gave her to Porti the son of Laish, from Galim, to be his wife instead. It was not until I made a league with Abner after Saul's death that I brought her back to me.
During our lives together, there are two occasions where our dialogue is recorded in scripture. One is when my father sent messengers to David's house to watch him and kill him in the morning. But because I loved him, I told him that if he did not save his life that night, tomorrow he would be killed. The second occasion was when my husband brought the Ark of the Covenant into Jerusalem and danced before the Lord until his ephod fell from him. And I despised him in my heart and said to him, "How glorious was the King of Israel today!" Uncovering himself in the eyes of the maids and his servants as one of the base fellows shamelessly uncovers himself. And as a result, I was struck with barrenness and never had any children.
When my wife spoke these words to me, I immediately let her know. It was before the Lord, who chose me instead of your father and all his house, to appoint me ruler over the people of the Lord and over Israel. Therefore I will play music before the Lord, and I will be even more undignified than this, and will be humble in my own sight. But as for the maidservants of whom you have spoken, by them I will be held in honor. My first encounter with Abigail was after the great prophet Samuel died, and I went to the wilderness of Paran after his burial. And her husband Nabal had business in Carmel. I knew him well because when his shepherds were there, we did not hurt them, nor did they lose anything while they were there. In fact, my men were a wall to them both by night and day, all the time they were keeping the sheep. But when I asked him to share some of his bread, water, and meat with me and my men while we were in the wilderness, he rudely refused and insulted us. Therefore I moved to kill him and his men.
I am a woman blessed with deep wisdom and understanding of heart. When one of my servants told me what my husband had done, I quickly gathered loaves of bread, skins of wine, 5 prepared sheep, sails of roasted grain, clusters of raisins, and cakes of figs, in great quantity, loaded them on donkeys and sent my servants ahead of me to meet David. Which is what my husband should have done. But he was such a foolish man. When I arrived, I bowed and pleaded for the error of my house, and he spared us. I also asked him to remember me when God made him ruler of the United Nation of Israel.
When I saw what Abigail had done, and I heard her words, I said to her, "God has indeed kept me back from bloodshed this day, for surely by morning light no males would have been left to Nabal." So I received her gift and sent her away in peace.
When I returned home, Nabal was holding a feast, like that of kings. The crème de la crème of the region was in attendance, and Nabal was too drunk to hear my words, so I waited until morning to speak with him. When I told him all that had occurred, it was as if he died right before my eyes. His heart melted within him, and he became as still as a stone. 10 days later, the Lord smote him.
When I heard that Nabal was dead, I declared that the Lord has kept my hand from evil, For he has returned the wickedness of Nabal on his own head. And I sent and proposed to Abigail, to be my wife.
When the servants of David came and told me that he wanted to marry me, I rose in haste, and rode on a donkey, attended by 5 of my maidens, and followed the messengers of David, and became his wife.